Hey everybody, welcome to the studio. Happy Friday or whatever day it may be, if and when you ever see this. It's been probably at least a few weeks since I've been on, so I wanted to come on, let people know that I'm alive and that I am diligently working hard behind the scenes while navigating the battles of mental health. And that's why I wanted to come on specifically today. It is Suicide Prevention Month, and tomorrow actually kicks off Suicide Prevention Week. And for those that know me or have followed me, you know that mental health is a big focus of my work, and in particular, suicide, suicide prevention, suicide awareness. All of these things are integral to the work that I do and who I am as a person, based on experiences in being a member of a club that people don't really want to be a part of. I lost my father to suicide before I was a year old on my mom's 21st birthday, and I never found out about it until I was 28. And up until I was 28 and even beyond, but prior to me finding out this information, I struggled with much of the same. And so it's always been, in many ways, a part of my work and a part of what I do. And I've always been very candid in sharing my thoughts, my struggles. And so when I do go through like the dark periods, I very candidly share it. And with a lot of the writing and the posts in the past couple months, I have to let out whatever it is that I'm feeling, because if I don't, it eats away at me. And even in letting it out, I still continue to face the battle, but I find that it does help. And I found that art in particular has been a wonderful outlet in allowing me to channel it and to utilize it as a tool to benefit not only me, but others, in the sense that I'm able to help them in sharing my stories and maybe help them to find new ways to think about their situation and to explore and hopefully find their own sense of healing, if nothing else, to be able to hold on for just a couple seconds longer. And I was thinking about that the other day when I was at the gym, that the reason that I work as hard as I do and do the things that I do, I'm training for life. I'm training to survive in many cases. And that's why I'm so intense in the things that I do, is because I do find that at times in life, I need every bit of that strength and that energy to just hold on a little bit longer. And that strength that I work to build up makes the difference between me making it and me not making it. And sometimes it is just a small thing that makes the difference. And I do have to remind myself constantly that lost is just a step away from found. So if I do hold on just a little bit longer and push through, that there could be brighter days ahead. And so that hope and the possibility of what can come is sometimes the thing that gets me through. But I definitely have my dark periods, my struggles, and it has translated into a lot of the work. And I'm thankful right now that I have a number of pieces on exhibit at Edelman Fine Arts in Little Italy, which is in San Diego. And a number of those pieces are based on the concept of suicide. One of the pieces that I have in there is the last project, or the last piece from a project I did in honor of my father. So I mentioned that I found out when I was 28. And so from 28 to 33, I worked on this project kind of behind the scenes that not many people knew about. So 5 years working on this project, it was 49 pieces. And these 49 pieces that were very meditative in nature and represented a rainbow all surrounded the suicide note that I painted for my father, the note that he never left. So it's called Rain Upon Sunrise. And I'm down to like one or two pieces from that project. And one of the pieces that I have is on exhibit at Edelman Fine Art. It's called Patrichorus. So it's a combination of the words petrichor, the like the spell of rain, and then patra meaning father, and chorus, the idea of music. So I like to play with abstract language the same way that I like to work with abstract elements of painting. And so that piece is on exhibit. So I'm thankful to be able to display and share that piece with people. They can go in, and the show is called Tell Me More. So when people go in, it actually has the stories behind the work. And that's a big thing to me too, because even though I do work primarily in an abstract realm, there's a lot of thoughts and concepts that go into the work. There's a deeper meaning, and there's always something to it. There's always Easter eggs in my work. There's always something for those that are willing to dig deeper into what I do. And then one of the other pieces that I have on exhibit is called 38 with the 38, the speed of eternal stillness. And that painting depicts an angel embracing a suicide victim at the moment of impact. And I was lucky enough to be able to partner with a hip hop artist named Lucidius. And we animated the painting and we added one of his tracks called Save Me, which is about suicide prevention, to that experience. So I posted that the other day too, so people could check that out on Facebook or Instagram. So I got a lot of stuff that I've been doing with the reels lately, because the reels seem to be the thing. And here on YouTube, I am still trying to get the live feeds and the actual videos to take off, because I've never done tremendously well with those. But what I have been doing pretty well with lately, and I thank you for it, is the shorts here on YouTube. I actually do better with the shorts here on YouTube, where I have far fewer followers than I do on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, those other platforms. So YouTube has actually been a great and supportive platform in that regard. And so I'm thankful for that. And I'm hoping that eventually people may stumble onto some of the live artist talks and find them helpful or useful. And particularly as it pertains to this subject of mental health and suicide prevention, you never know what's going to make the difference. So maybe somebody stumbles across one of these videos at 2, 3 a.m. when they're really struggling. And maybe it's the thing that just helps them and makes the difference in giving them the strength to just hold on a little bit longer to make it to the next day, when maybe you can think a little more clearly, or you can find a way to breathe. But I know what it's like to feel trapped there and feel like you can't breathe. And so I put a lot of that into the paintings. And it's not that it takes away the pain, but it just gives you a vessel and something to put it in, so you can at least compartmentalize, maybe separate a little bit from it. And another one of the struggles that I've been having lately is that I've been doing this collection called my Open Wounds collection, which is about how sometimes you need to tear yourself open and expose your wounds so that they can breathe and hopefully heal. But in doing so, I find that also it does kind of, at least for me personally, kind of keep me in a dark place at times. So I've had to evaluate that. And I'm trying to find this balance of where to separate from that, because I want to be vulnerable and honest in my art, but I have to make sure that it doesn't consume me at the same time. So I like to say that I am the artist, but I am also the art. I am my art, and my art is me. And it's very true. And I'm thankful for the platform that I do have and the ability to share, but sometimes it puts you in a very interesting place. I'm just reading the comment from Denise. Oh, thank you for sharing that, and I'm so sorry. It's, yeah, it's one of these clubs that nobody ever wants to be a part of, and sometimes there's not a sign that it's coming in some cases, and sometimes there are. But I think that we always look back, even if there weren't signs, and say, "Well, what did I miss? Was there something that I could have found, or was there a difference that I could have made?" And a lot of times when I feel that I'm in that dark place and I'm on this precipice, and just moments between this and that, I do sometimes feel completely isolated. And like, even though they talk about there being outlets and people always say, "Oh, well, you can talk to me about anything." I think that the words are easy for people to say, but I think that in that moment, it's kind of a different experience. And I have to, if I'm being candid, admit that in the times that I have found myself in the darkest places, the darkest crevices, I have not felt like I had what I needed in many cases, in terms of the support of having people there, or having the outlets or the channels. And part of that has to do with our healthcare system and stuff like that too. And part of it has to do with me being an introvert and somewhat isolated in the things that I do. But that's just my experience, and I don't wish that upon anybody. So I hope that I know that other people do feel the way that I do, assuredly, but I wish that they didn't, and I hope that they don't, and I hope that I can lighten the burden by sharing my stories and my experiences. And I think, Denise, if you haven't seen them, I posted a couple things on Facebook and Instagram in the past day that specifically tied to this subject, and even maybe this may have been something before you joined in on today, but I talked about specifically a couple of the pieces that I did. And then at my website, cariniarts.com, I have a number of blog posts where I wrote about this subject, and I actually show the project that I did where I painted my father's suicide note, and I show the installation view of the 49 pieces that I spent 5 years working on. But it's something that never leaves you, and it's always with you. And it's something that I try to circumnavigate in such a way that I just hope to make a difference for somebody out there, and prevent them from having that same end, or having to deal with what I'm doing. Because I've seen it from all sides of the spectrum, from my father to where I deal with these same issues on it. And even with times of success, it doesn't matter how well I'm doing in many cases. Like sometimes these feelings hit me when I'm doing my best, and I say, "Oh, I don't deserve this. Like, this is so fleeting." And so I think there's this fear of success. There's a fear of failure. There's so many factors that go into these things, and I find that the world that we live in today, with all of the things that people are having to deal with, it's making it increasingly difficult and increasingly isolated, and the divide is being furthered. And so, as an artist, I'm thankful that I have a platform to be able to share my story, share my experiences, and hopefully be more of a bridge to bring people together and make people feel more open to discuss and talk about these things. So check out more of my stuff, CariniArts.com, and you can find me on Facebook at Carini Arts, on Instagram at Acrylic Alchemy, and hopefully much more to come soon. But I also do a lot of writing, so I got a writing page on Instagram. I'm everywhere, so you can Google me if you struggle to find me, but you will find me. I'm anywhere and everywhere. And apologies for the things you find about me that you don't want to see, because there's a lot out there on me. But have a good day, stay safe, be well, and take care of each other. See you next time.